Israel has been clear in word and action that it has no intention of agreeing a ceasefire as of this morning. Israel has been clear over several decades of illegal settlement expansion that it has also no intention of reaching a political outcome other than continued territorial expansion and indefinite military occupation. There are 4 obvious ways to pressure Israel and to change the political status quo, and here I also mean the UK. Number 1, a comprehensive arms embargo. Number 2, sanctions. Number 3, accountability. And number 4, an immediate formal recognition of the state of Palestine.
I suppose I ought to start by asking a general question, really, which is, because this is an inquiry into what could the British government do more to be of assistance to ensure that there is peace in the Middle East and to have a lasting peace. And I wondered if you could give us your thoughts on what practical measures the UK could take to ensure a ceasefire in Gaza, but also to build a lasting peace.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Emily Thornberry and members of the Foreign Affairs Select Committee for this very timely event and convening this conversation at such an acute moment. And in answering this question, I would like to speak with the utmost urgency. We, the Palestinian people, are facing an Israeli attempt at total erasure. Physical, political, and legal, not just in Gaza, and not only for the last 14 months, but for more than a century of settler colonialism. This is happening in clear and gross violations of all standards and norms of international law, international humanitarian law, our shared humanity, and simple common decency. And the absence of any effective intervention by the international community over the past 14 months will leave future generations asking, where were we during this genocide? What did we do? The UK could be instrumental in bringing this mass murder, mass destruction to an end. Britain has a unique historical role in and responsibility for Palestine. It remains an important and influential actor on the international scene. It is one of the founders of the global rules-based order. It has deep and lasting connections to large parts of the world, including our region. And it is a uniquely placed Western power, close enough, right in the middle, with relations to the US, very special relations to the US and the EU. With the EU distracted and the US unpredictable as we speak, the UK is one of the few nations in the world in a position to step forward to fill a vacuum of global leadership at a historic moment of epic danger all over the world. So, honourable members, the immediate priority in Palestine remains securing a lasting ceasefire. That's number 1, number 2, number 3 priority for us now. An immediate, permanent ceasefire in line with the UN Security Council Resolution 2735, including an exchange of hostages, a full withdrawal of the Israeli army, and a multi-year reconstruction plan for Gaza. This must be overseen by the state of Palestine and our legitimate national institutions. There is no other alternative. The unity of Gaza and the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, the unity of our territory and people, is represented by one legitimate address. That is the Palestinian government. We must immediately ensure the unfettered access of humanitarian aid to 2.3 million people who are suffering an imposed famine, and all of you are getting the images from the north of Gaza. 37 children have died so far of malnutrition. People have been crushed to death as they were trying to get a loaf of bread. And finally, these images are making it to mainstream media like the CNN and the BBC. So images are disheartening. This last October was the highest number of Israel preventing international aid from arriving, even in comparison to last year. And not only the imposed famine, but the wholesale destruction of human and material infrastructure, from housing and healthcare to sewage networks and agricultural land. But a ceasefire will not be lasting, my friends. A ceasefire will not be lasting without the clear political understanding and accompanying investment that the issue of Palestine needs to be resolved now. Once and for all, we have got to focus on the root cause. Israel has been clear in word and action that it has no intention of agreeing a ceasefire as of this morning. And I was with our colleagues in Cairo and other places, still foiling several opportunities since November 2023. Israel has been clear over several decades of illegal settlement expansion that it has also no intention of reaching a political outcome other than continued territorial expansion and indefinite military occupation. We have got, right, Honorable Emily, focus on the end game here. And the end game so far is very clear for Israel on the one hand and for us on the other hand. Or as we see now in Gaza, it has turned fully into a genocidal aggression. And therefore, just to touch really on how do we begin to heal this, given what we know already, particularly in light of the International Court of Justice opinion that Israel's occupation is unlawful and must end, that all the settlements are illegal and must be dismantled, and that all third-party states must cease to provide any legal, political, or material support to Israel's occupation. Therefore, in light of this, there are 4 obvious ways to pressure Israel and to change the political status quo, and here I also mean the UK. Number 1, a comprehensive arms embargo. Number 2, sanctions. Number 3, accountability. And number 4, an immediate formal recognition of the state of Palestine.
May I ask you to pause there, because it's a very comprehensive answer, and we have some other questions specifically for you. And we don't want to repeat that, but there may well be many things that you've said in your statement that we would like to ask you further questions on. So given the time constraints that we have, if you wouldn't mind.